Next story on the list, Blizzard has revealed their next hero, Hero 31, and his name is Sigma. It's from Nathan Grayson. It says, after a series of teases that culminated in the apparent demise of Overwatch director Jeff Kaplan, Blizzard has revealed the game's latest hero. His name is Sigma, and he has the power to see math. Also, perhaps related to that, he can control gravity. Today, Blizzard introduced Sigma in an animated story trailer. Quote, gravity is a harness, end quote, Sigma says in the trailer. Quote, I have harnessed the harness, end quote. But that wasn't enough for him, so he decided to try and double harness the power of a black hole. That, however, appears to have driven him mad, or at least stuffed his brain so full that it's an overflowing bowl of mashed potatoes. So yeah, we can we're gonna pull this up, but we're not gonna play the audio or anything. We're just gonna let this roll. Oh, did my headset turn back on? Interesting. So yeah, this is here's the trailer for it. I've watched this a couple times. We finally have a bad guy tank. We have a Talon tank, and I'm very excited about it. I'm hoping that he has some more mobility, because right now, you know, we've got Hamster and we've got who's like a hybrid main tank off tank kind of deal. And then we have Winston, who's really our only mobile main tank, because then you have Reinhardt and Orisa. And so I'm really hoping that he has some mobility to him. People are number one, it's insane to me the amount of things that people can speculate on and get absolutely right. Like, people knew this guy was going to be Sigma, he was going to be a tank, he was going to control gravity. They've like called certain parts of his story. I've played, you know, hundreds and hundreds of hours of Overwatch, but I have never really been much into the lore of it. And so I'm not one of those guys who can like dig in and find these Easter eggs that give you hints about, you know, what's going to be happening. And so a lot of people called this, and I've seen a lot of speculation that his ult is going to be a time slow, that he'll be able to release his ult and it'll slow the enemy team, and your team will be able to, you know, take advantage of it. I'm really curious to see how they work in shielding to him if he is supposed to be a main tank, because it's kind of a big piece of being a main tank. I don't know. I'm always excited for a new hero. I'm a tank main, and therefore I get, you know, really excited when new tanks come in. I am not a great Hammond player, and so the last new tank that I could really get into, right, was Orisa. And his character design is just really cool. The whole mad scientist vibe, leaning into that. I'm here for it, man. I think that I think it's going to be cool. Between this and the 222 lock, I think the Overwatch community is kind of like a buzz right now. Now is a great time to be an Overwatch fan. So I've been given 222 a try, right? And I want to, you know, kind of give my thoughts on this. Been given 222 a try in the PTR. And I am just here to say, guys, I fucking love it. All right. I fucking love it. It is so good. It is so good dropping into a game and knowing that I'm playing with people who want to play the roles that they're playing. It's so good dropping into a game and not having to worry about, oh man, do I have 4 people who just love to play McCree on this team or love to play Reaper? Or, you know, more rarely so, 4 people who love to play Mercy? And look, some of this is because of the PTR. It's the PTR, and PTR games don't matter, and your SR in PTR doesn't matter. Which at the end of the day, does your SR in regular competitive matter? But the toxicity in the community has been like super low. I haven't seen much of anybody getting flamed. I've played probably about 20 games on the PTR. Nobody really getting flamed in the chat or in voice chat. I've been queuing as a tank, and I find games like instantly. Like as soon as I press it, 2 seconds later, I'm in a game. Watched some people queuing DPS earlier today, and they were like, you know, 2-3 minutes long. I think support's a little bit shorter than that. I don't know. I think those queue times are hopefully going to remain on the shorter side the more players that get thrown in. It really just depends on how off kilter DPS is going to be. Because if you look at the estimated times, it says DPS is over 10 minutes in the client when you're like selecting your roles. But no, it's just really cool being able to play the game the way that it should be played, the way that every time you get in a game, people are wanting it to be played. And this whole idea of like, oh, it stifles creativity, blah, 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 blah. Like, I agree with that debate from the pro scene. I think it stifles some of the creativity that could be seen there. But as a guy who plays in gold, I don't fucking care, right? I don't fucking care about about maintaining creativity because most of the time the creativity is them trying to be like, we're gonna run Hog Moira and 4 DPS. And it's like, no, at that point you're just throwing, right? Like I am all for this lock. I feel like I'm playing Overwatch the way that it was intended to be played. I'm not suffering through endless toxicity from people who aren't playing the roles that they want, aren't being able to play the characters that they want. And so I think it's going to be a great thing for the community. And throw Hero 31 in there with Sigma releasing. And I just think even more so, like, now is a great time to be an Overwatch fan. I don't know how many new people it's going to pull back in, but I've talked to a number of people who've fallen out of Overwatch who are like, man, now with roll queue, I'm thinking about jumping back in. And people always love to jump back in when a new hero comes out as well. I imagine the week that Sigma releases, queuing as a tank is going to suck. Queuing as a tank will probably suck. But it'll also be good, right? Like, I'm not going to be loading into the game and like tap 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 on my mouse trying to get the new hero. Like, it would be me and one other person who would be able to get that to be able to play with Sigma. And so yeah, roll queue is awesome, guys. If you're an Overwatch fan or were an Overwatch fan and you've fallen out of the game, now is a great, well, not now, you got to wait till August 13th for it to come to the live patch, but if you're on PC, you can download the PTR. And now is just a great time to jump into it. Highly recommend it. 222, Chef's Kiss. Chef's Kiss.